Hey everyone. So it's been quite some time since I filmed a video. Um, yeah, just been going through some stuff, like personally, and also I just really haven't had anything to say. So, uh, not like I have a whole bunch to say today, but I went to the library, um, and got some books. I have always been a reader. I've always enjoyed reading. The last few years, I guess like more the last couple years, I have really fell back into my reading habit after nursing school. I could just like enjoy reading again, and I have been like full force. So for 2025, I want to buy less books and read either what I have or use my library, which is what I did today. So after I did my errands, I'm sorry by the way if you can hear a dog snoring, it's Bear, and I'm not going to wake her up. So anyway, after I did my errands, I went over to the library and then I went and sat on the beach and read my book. So I didn't get a whole bunch of books because sometimes I overwhelm myself. So the first book I got was Pump, and this is by Bill Schutt. This is a natural history of the heart. So basically, what this is similar to like, excuse me, Bill Bryson or It Never Fails. Like I turn on the camera and then I have to yawn. Hi, Hildegard. So, like I was saying, so like Bill Bryson or Mary Roach, it's like one of those nonfiction but still fun um, looks at the human heart. I have always had this like interest in the heart. I was a teletech before I became a nurse, and I always wanted to work in a cath lab. Maybe I still will. I don't know. And I'm sure most of you know. I also, as you can see, I have a pacemaker. Um, so I don't know. I've just always liked the heart. Um, yeah, and I just figured like what a good book for me, you know. I only read about like 17 pages of this while I was sitting on the beach, and then I just enjoyed the beach. I don't know. There's like pictures like this is a dog heart with worms. I don't know. It just seemed like a book for me. What is it? So I don't think she's been in any of my videos, maybe, but we have this dog. But she must have been because I think it's been a year. Anyway, we have Hildegard. She's a little over a year now. She is the worst behaved puppy I've ever owned. Like I love her so much, but man, she has tried all of my patience, haven't you? Yeah. Um, so if you hear her, see her, that's Sylvie. Yes, yes. Can you lay down? I'm trying to talk about books. Do you want to smell the book? Smell it. All right. So the next book is The Magic Mountain. This is by Thomas Mann. Um, this was a Nobel Prize winner. I was going to participate um, in Game of Tomes, which is a book club that is led by Carolyn from Carolyn Reads and Emma from Emmy Reads here on YouTube, and then they host it over on Fable. But I wasn't able to get a copy soon enough. So, but I still want to read this because I don't read a lot of classics, and I would like to read more. And this sounds interesting. I like books that are like set in secluded settings, and then also I like books that feature like healthcare. I've always liked books like hospital settings, and like this isn't a sanatorium, so like I'll just read part of the summary. With this Disney with his okay begin. With this dizzyingly rich novel of ideas, Thomas Mann rose to the front ranks of the great modern novelists, ultimately winning the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1929. In The Magic Mountain, Mann uses a sanatorium in the Swiss Alps, a community devoted exclusively to sickness, as a microcosm for Europe, which in the years before 1914 was already exhibiting the first symptoms of its own terminal irrationality. And then it just keeps kind of going on from there. So like this is a really long novel. It's 700. This copy is 705 pages. Um, I like floppy books, right? But look look at it. Look at those tiny little words. Don't look at my nails. Look at those tiny little words instead. That's a lot of words per page. Not that I don't like to read, of course I do, but like this is gonna be a while, you know. Next, so when I was searching for that book in my library's the online feature to put it on hold, this book came up, The Impusium. It's called The Health Resort Horror Story, and it's also a Nobel Prize for literature, which is pretty cool. So like I said, I like those kind of, I don't know, I like the healthcare setting. I like that hospital setting, isolated setting. I'll read part of this. It just sounded neat. September 1913, a young Pole suffering from tuberculosis arrives at Wilhelm Opitz's guest house for gentlemen in the village of Gorbichtsdorf, a health resort in the Silesian mountains. Every evening, the residents gather to imbibe the hallucinogenic local liqueur and debate great issues of the day. Monarchy or democracy? Do devils exist? Are women born inferior? War or peace? Meanwhile, disturbing things are happening in the guest house and surrounding hills. Someone or something seems to be watching, attempting to infiltrate this cloistered world. Cloistered, that's the word. I like that setting. Little does the newcomer realize, as he tries to unravel both the truths within himself and the mystery of the sinister forces beyond, that they may have already chosen their next target. And again, it says like a century after the publication of The Magic Mountain, Olga, I'm illiterate apparently, revisits Thomas Mann's territory and lays claim to it. So I am pretty stoked to read this. Yeah, it looks and sounds fascinating. And I like the cover. Oh, well, there's me. Anyway, there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I picked up a couple, $2 books, Run by Ann Patchett, which is one of those novels that takes place over 24 hours. I'm not going to read the whole synopsis, but basically it has a family where the dad has political aspirations for his 2 boys, and there's a car accident, and yeah. Here, it says, but when an argument in a blinding New England snowstorm inadvertently causes an accident that involves a stranger and her child, all Bernard Doyle cares about is his ability to keep all his children safe. Set over a period of 24 hours, Run takes us from the Museum of Comparative Zoology at Harvard to a home for retired Catholic priests in downtown Boston. And it goes on from there. But I have liked a few books by Ann Patchett, Bel Canto, of course, and then there was a couple others. I don't really remember. I remember The Patron Saint of Liars. I liked okay. So the other book I picked up is called The Autobiography of Henry VIII, with notes by his fool Will Summers. It's a novel by Margaret George. Like, this is a huge book as well. See? And it's also one of those floppy books. But this book is, let's see. Toby? No. No. Drop it. 931 pages. So, yeah. And the text is, again, pretty small. She really likes to chew my socks, so I have like no socks left. Thank you. Leave it alone. And she takes them out of the laundry basket. And then I just want to talk about 2 books that I have really liked. So this year so far I've read 7 books, and these are the 2 that have stood out most. This was an ARC copy that I received from Goodreads. We Could Be Rats from Emily Austin. She's like an author for me. I've read everything she's written so far. This wasn't my very favorite. I think I liked Interesting Facts About Space the most, but you can see I still tabbed it up. It's not a twist because it's not like a mystery or anything, but there's a device that I still don't know if I loved. I'll just say that, but like I really think that Austen, she writes books for people like me. So like this is a book about here, Sigrid hates working at the Dollar Pal. Having always resisted the idea of growing up and the trappings of adulthood, she did not graduate high school, preferring to roam the streets of her small town with her best friend Greta, the only person in the world who ever understood her. Sigrid was never close to her older sister Margaret, who is baffled and frustrated by Sigrid's inability to conform to the expectations of polite society. And basically, this is the story of them reconnecting and like learning to appreciate each other. Yeah. And I really just, I don't know. There was a bunch of things that I don't know. Sometimes I read things that Emily Austen writes and I'm like, holy shit, did she like copy that from my journal, you know? And she has a lot of um like in this one I don't necessarily think that there's autism specified, but she does have a lot of neurodivergent representation without it being like this character is neurodivergent guy, you know. So I like her. And then the last book I'll talk about is by Chelsea Beaker, Madwoman, and I think the cover of this is lovely. Um, this is about Clove, and Clove is kind of like a country mama who lives in Portland with her 2 kids and husband, and Portland, Oregon. And she receives a letter from her mom, who is in prison for killing Clove's dad, 30 years ago. So this book is kind of, at first it was slow and I was kind of put off by the fact it's kind of told in letter form. Um, she's driving me nuts, but it's great. Yeah, I would recommend it. So those are the books that I'm going to be reading this month and the books that I have read this month. If you have any recommendations, I would appreciate them. I have Hildy. No, sorry. I don't have any ability to edit right now. So I mean like you guys are seeing the raw, you heard my dog snore, you're seeing the freaking dog bed. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I am not going to be using Goodreads this year. I'm going to be keeping track of all my reading on Fable. Just because I am liking it so far. There's a couple things that I would like to change. I wish that I don't know. I just completely lost my train of thought. Anyway, I wish that there were Bear. Oh my God, I can't film. I feel like how do people with kids actually get this done when I just have dogs and I'm going crazy? Anyway, yeah, there are a couple things on Fable that I would like to change, but all in all, I'm okay with it. Um, I know what I was gonna say. The follow feature, right? So like you follow people and you're connected to them, but I see posts from everybody, which is cool. I don't care, but it's not tailored to me. Or and then I also don't really care for like if I review a book, then I see it in my feed, nothing but reviews for that book. Like cool. Like especially for a book that I had rated kind of low, I don't want to see that book anymore, you know? But anyway, so I am on Fable. My Goodreads is kind of on pause for now. I just want to. So yeah, again, if you have any book reviews, book recommendations, thoughts, ideas, anything at all, please let me know. And thank you so much for watching.